Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today I'm going to review the secret network and see if I expect it to have a price performance or not in the future. So this is a top-down view of my project. You can see it's pretty strong. There's some things that are, yellow. But besides that, for the most part, it is a pretty strong project. And so what is this project? The secret network is basically, as the name suggests, like a trust computer for smart contracts that have privacy associated with them. So you can do different functionalities, computer logic in an environment that is private, in a trust computer environment, a cryptocurrency environment. So secret token and its governance is not private in order to appeal to regulators, and I'll talk more on that later. But basically what secret solves right now, credit, trading, smart contracts, biodata authentication, first chain with privacy smart contracts. Everyone is treated the same with leverage trading. So that's an important thing to look at right there. In many exchanges, if you have leverage trading, the exchange can see the arrogant position of those leverage positions, and it could make decisions on liquidating those. So it would be better for everyone in this market if leverage trading, this is a big market to serve, and this blockchain could solve that. Platform infrastructure type role, layer 1 type project, which is a foundational layer, but with privacy as its main target. Something that makes ETH and many other systems more valuable because it connects with all these chains. And so that's something I do like about this project as well, is they are not going for one ecosystem. They're not going for Ethereum or Cosmos or Polkadot. They're unbiased and going for everything. Okay, so let's get into the weeds here and go over the in-depth analysis. So I do expect this project to perform in relationship to the average crypto. Future increase in demand for token, I expect that to be the case. Okay, so what the token is used for. It operates nodes, DPoS, whatever fees take place on the platform go to node operators. So staking is part of the consensus, the security, governance, and value transfer. So using the network is what the token is used for. So the token is involved quite heavily with ownership, with utilizing the services provided. You need the token to use the network. And more secret tokens, the more control, the more you get over it. The value of the target market is extremely large. Programmable privacy, Tendermint ecosystem, no front-running DeFi. So that's one of the things that you can get when you have a secret trading environment is you won't get front-running by bots, and a lot of people lose a lot of money from that, myself included. I've seen some money that I've lost. And secret auctions is something so you could trade things without showing the whole world. Blockchains are very transparent, and so secret allows for you to actually conduct your finances in a privacy-centric environment. So that is very important. IBC, so this is, this blockchain is going for IBC, inter-blockchain communication, private smart contracts. This is over $100 trillion market, so the size of the market that this project goes for is very large. As far as a current niche, private auctions contracts are up, the secret swap is up, ETH secret bridge is up, which allows for, if there's, DeFi on this project, you can know that you can use it without front running. And one of the things I will say is, one of the founders, when they were talking about this project, they were talking about how you can't make Ethereum private because it's like a squeezed bottle of toothpaste. When something's public, it's hard to make it private. But if you start off with privacy as a default, then you can have that privacy layer. And many of the services provided by this blockchain are automatically by default private. As far as the market cap for this project, it is not super low. Fully diluted, 177, 68 million circulating, 68 million market cap right now. As far as price action, this thing has not had any bullish activity. It's actually been one of the more poor performers, comparatively speaking. It's only up 2x for the last 12 weeks. The average is about 7x. The average crypto is still up about 7x at this point for the last 12 months. And one of the reasons for that, I'm going to explain right here, is it is difficult to acquire. That's one of the reasons this project, I believe, hasn't had the crazy evaluations like most of crypto, or it hasn't kept up. Because, more like this project is going to only be bought by more sophisticated buyers, people who are used to using DEXs, decentralized exchanges. So I think that the buying market of this project is going to be heavily associated with decentralized services, decentralized exchanges. And the reason for that is because governments do not like privacy. Governments do not want their citizens to have privacy. So this project, this secret network, is going to be, even though they tried to appeal to regulators by making the token itself and the account contracts and the governance of it not private, offering privacy for citizens is something governments hate. And I'm actually going to go into some of this project's history as even evidence of that. So I don't expect this thing to show up on centralized exchanges. And because it's not showing up on centralized exchanges, any privacy option is not going to show up on many centralized exchanges. And because of that, you're not going to get huge retail excitement, because retail is the non-sophisticated investor class. And so the non-sophisticated investor class often causes evaluations to make huge swings, right? Because they just buy stuff and they don't really think about it. They don't do their due diligence, and they buy it on easy-to-go places. They're not very technically savvy. But this project, I expect it to actually get that retail type situation in the future when DeFi, when DEXs become as easy to use as centralized exchanges. And I do believe that will happen. But for now, that is some of my criticisms for the project. As far as like the buying market, you're not going to see a lot of retail buying it because they're not sophisticated. Okay. Now, you are in this project before a lot of the social media. Like, not a lot of people are aware of it. It has low social media numbers, mostly, comparatively speaking. Before the first marketing campaign, not really, there's some awareness of this project, but, like as far as social media goes, it's relatively low. Okay, so major upcoming events soon. The Terra IBC, I think it actually might be out. I'm not sure, but inter-blockchain communication. They said, it said it's on the testnet now. I read it in their blog, so I think it's not out yet. But that's something that's up on the roadmap. And hey, that's another environment for it to be purchased, which is great. So that means that could help in the token price. Decentralized biometric authentication, but they've been talking about that for a while, and I'm not sure of how much of a market price action that could see, but that is still a very novel, powerful use case, and that's, my background in biotechnology. I think that we do need services that allow for people to store their biometrics in a privacy way, but still allow people to access them, but I'm not going to go too much down that road. The devs are unbiased in their approach, so I do expect them to bridge to several different projects, et cetera, et cetera. So I do expect there to be things, the devs work pretty hard and they've been delivering, so I do expect, the future roadmap to be pretty good, which will contribute to future market excitement. So I do think that this thing will capture future market excitement at some point. Money needed to move price up to decrease. I think that will be the case. Inflation rate's acceptable. The token is in control and has a voice, so it's not that big of a deal. And plus, you get paid dividends by being a node operator. You get fees from the ecosystem being utilized. So it's like real ownership. So none of that, like distribution and inflation, matter that much because they go to node operators. The distributed amount is about 38. That's not the best in the world, but once again, this is a dividend producing type thing. So if you're a node operator, you don't have to care too much about that dilution because you're going to capture the utility growth of this platform if it does in fact have growth of users. Tokens on the sell side decreased. I expect that to be the case. Okay, so regarding governance, vote and security. Token is involved in voting on what happens. It really is in control and in security of the network. And there's a several node process: submit, deposit, vote, tally, and implement. That is their governance model. So yeah, it's got a decent governance model for the token. The token is well integrated into the future of this thing, and it represents ownership of the secret network, the SCRT token. High value people prioritize upgrades. I expect that to be the case. Now we have some strategic partnerships. The Kepler wallet is the place you want to go if you want to interact with this IBC Cosmos ecosystem. And it is mostly the Cosmo ecosystem right now. And you have Thor's, Secret, and Terra connecting into that ecosystem right now. And, so it's built into that ecosystem. This is the play you're taking is the Cosmos ecosystem privacy play is the secret network. But Du Kwan of the CEO of Terra has said privacy for Terra assets, is a powerful thing. But they've also worked on Plasma, which is the Shiden network on Kusama. But Plasma is the Polkadot version. Right here you can see that I really like that they're not being biased towards any ecosystem. They're not being too biased towards Cosmos. They're willing to connect to Polkadot. So that means if this one wins, or if this one wins, Secret Network will win because they're being unbiased. And that's what you want is a team that doesn't care about which ecosystem they're working in. They connect to everyone. And so since they're connecting Plasma, it looks like they have that proper mindset to be successful. They're not being biased. Oh, we're only going to stick to Ethereum. No, you're going to wherever things go, wherever the value goes in the future, and you just don't care. You're just going to provide a service, and you're going to stick it until you win. So that's what you want to see. As far as vetted, they have some vetted with the as far as providing evidence that the management is trustworthy. They're a little bit vetted in that they do have some investors, and you have for instance Do Kwan, the CEO of Terra, talking about them. So they're pretty vetted from some of but they don't have the best partnerships, I will say, for this project. But I do see that they keep their promises, they're understanding, and they're straightforward. So that's another evidence towards them being trustworthy. As far as impressive achievements, now I will say, I don't like the history of this project very much, because it never reached $1 billion, so it doesn't have that experience of making $1 billion startup. It got pretty close at 500 million, but that was all-time peak in the last run. And they have no $1 billion hits, no inventions. So, that means, this is basically, this whole thing is for all stars. And, they don't have any of those $1 billion hitters or those real inventions in their past. But regarding the team, they are a good team. I'm going to mess up that name, Zuskine. He's the CTO of Athena. Endor, he worked in MIT, did data analytics and network science, and worked at MIT, just has experience from MIT. And these guys are from the Enigma project, but now they're working on this project. So they're very technically smart. They come from MIT, so they're they have their computer science backgrounds. They're Victor Graf's senior dev, master's electrical engineer. They're very scientifically literate, going to, the basic principles of, like making sure that they understand sciences, etc. And they've been delivering, so they're very talented. Tor Blair is the guy you'll see on most interviews. He MIT data science, head of the growth of Enigma, and founder of the Secret Foundation. This is the guy you're going to see in a lot of your interviews if you research this project on YouTube. There's just different talented people. But one of the bad things about their past is in Enigma, they got hit with a $500,000 penalty to the SEC for Enigma's ICO, which raised $45 million. But I don't like that they didn't look in the future. But everybody makes mistakes when they're entrepreneurs. The SEC. But one of the things, the reason the government did isolate this project is, and one of the negative things to be said about privacy from a investment perspective, is that governments are going to attack anything that offers privacy to citizens because they don't like it. Governments do not like it. So I take this penalty with a grain of salt because I know that the government's going to attack them in every way they can, even though they tried to appeal to regulators by making the token itself and governance not private. CEO, now regarding, the CEO, there is no real CEO. They try to make it like it's decentralized run, but the Enigma team's making most of the decisions. But they do have drive. They make new apps. They're not super vocal like their team as much as they used to be, like when they were with Enigma. Quiet CEO is likely due to regulatory hit to Enigma. So now they must make it sure that it looks as if it's run by a decentralized community in order to try to avoid the constant attack from governments that they're likely to see. But so that's, as leadership goes, it'll be difficult to know how good they are because, they're not out there saying, I'm the CEO of this project. They have to make it seem like it's decentralized so that they can push off that regulatory concern. But, the team, the people are staying involved and they're still building valuable things to this. So they're still there contributing. As far as external transfer catalyst inhibitor is concerned, what this is what if you capture clients, are they going to leave the network? I don't think so. Anything that's a foundational layer, if you're going to build a business on top of it, it's very difficult to transfer. And I think that they will keep anyone that they end up working with that builds their business logic on top of this system. So they are, and as far as the best competition of the best option of the competition, they are the Cosmos Tendermint ecosystem. They bridge to Terra, Live, Testnet. They're the best outside of the Polkadot ecosystem. But the fact that they want to connect to Polkadot means that, this is one of the best privacy solutions there is out there. Another one that I like that is a privacy solution is Phala. And that is also right now on Kusama and Polkadot. And I think that's going to be a player as well. But this market cap of this project is much smaller. So, that might be a good thing to consider. And I like that they're not biased. And one of the things I will say is I like this, that they are, regarding best option of the competition, hey, you're taking a bet here that means you can win if Polkadot wins and if Kusama wins, Cosmos wins, because they're being unbiased about it. But I actually believe that both of these ecosystems might do well. And so, Secret Network could win from the connection between these two ecosystems. So that is something to consider. All right. Long-term mission, they've been constantly delivering products, their privacy layer basically for blockchains. Developers are paid by their on-chain treasury, which is controlled by governance. So I expect high-value upgrades and services to provide it to get better over time. And so now regarding large business models that demand token to reflect their needs, I would say it's more on the lower end, but barely. They're very dependent on the successful businesses on top of it. Otherwise, no. I don't expect businesses to buy this token other than for an investment portfolio. But I do expect businesses on top of this platform to buy the token because they're going to want voice. They will want vote in the regulatory process. If you build your business on this chain, you want to have a vote in governance. So I do expect that this is dependent on getting businesses on top of the chain, on top of this blockchain. This is irrelevant because it's not a part of this. Okay, and then as far as user experience, IBC, inter-blockchain communication, Kepler, it's pretty good, and it will become easier over time. First mover advantage, they have IBC, privacy, smart contracts. They're one of the first movers in that, in that whole thing. As far as more people using product, I expect that to be the case, and tokens per person to go down. Market cap per account is actually pretty low. I like that number. This is not a burning model project, so that's something to consider. Now, one of the things I will say once again, you can see here that this project is not on a lot of centralized exchanges. Binance was even attacked recently and continues to be attacked. But, Binance, one thing I like about them is they don't really care a lot. That's good and bad, is that, they just offer services to the market once, which is good for them. But you can see it's not offered in a lot of places. And that's why this project has been in the one of the not best performers, because retail only buy stuff that's in easy to do locations. But I do expect DEXs and DeFi to become easier over time to use. The buy market is dependent on the growth of DEXs because governments, I think secrecy, privacy stuff will not be on centralized exchanges. Governments are going to crack down on this. So the only place you'll be able to participate in privacy networks isn't in decentralized environment, which is DEXs. The growth of the price of this platform is highly dependent on DEX growth due to regulatory risk from listing on centralized exchanges. Centralized exchanges don't want to be attacked by governments, guys. This process in price growth is a direct relationship with Cosmos DEX, DeFi, and the Tendermint ecosystem, as well as what they will build in the Polkadot ecosystem in the future. So that is something to think about. But they said they will go where demand is as far as which DeFi environment they build to. They see themselves as a privacy for blockchain, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so that is that is the overview, guys. Low market cap with accomplished CEO, I put no on that. Early to social media, I put yes on that. And a live niche, I put yes on that. So those are, 2 checks out of the 3. So it's a pretty good checklist. Pros and cons. First to market. Here, let me make this bigger so I can actually read it. Okay, so the pros. First to market, IBC privacy smart contracts. Apps, they got a lot of apps, DEXs, bridges, swaps, and, they got a lot of apps that they built. Low social media, live niche, and unbiased ecosystem approach, ETH, Atom, and DOT, which is good. Cons, governments hate privacy, so they're constantly going to attack it. Not many partnerships, but once again, that might be because of regulatory, so the regulatory slap in the past and the history. These are the cons. These are the things to think about. So this project might need a longer time horizon to get that price action you want to see, because governments are going to go after it. And you can see here, let me go here. This is showing you the many different secret apps that they've built. You can see they provide liquidity stake. They have all these apps up, so they are a building biased team, which I like. And as far as that goes, that's the extent of my review, guys. I'm going to produce my Patreon video next, what my personal portfolio decisions will be regarding this project. I'll see you guys there. Otherwise, hope you guys like this content, and I look forward to putting out the highest quality, in-depth analysis available in the crypto space. All right, later, guys.